you ever heard of the term community food forests, or food forest or forest garden in general? They're a way of planting that mimics a natural ecosystem. And it mimics a young forest ecosystem where all the different plants are trying to occupy horizontal and vertical layers to make the most efficient use of light and shade and nutrients and water that are available in that ecosystem. A food forest mimics that type of structure, but it's with edible plants, or medicinal plants, and other plants that can have both human and environmental benefits. Community food forests are a scaled up version that are being planted in public spaces open to harvesting and foraging to the public. Community food forests make the most efficient use of any available space in the urban environment. If it's a public park, they make the landscape more interactive. Instead of just going for a stroll, you could forage for your food while you're out there. You're interacting with the landscape, you're interacting with nature, and you're connecting. And if it's vacant lots and there's areas with very little green space, it's a way to add more nature into that urban landscape and that environment. Food forests benefit both the environment and the community. With the environment, they help with stormwater management during heavy rain events and contaminated sites. Plants can even help accumulate the different toxins that are in the soil and help them remove them from the site, making it usable for a better food source in the future. And they help with air quality and providing habitat for migrating birds and insects and different pollinators. As far as the community goes, they provide a source of locally grown food. That helps a lot of people remember where their food is actually coming from, how it's grown, what can be grown in their particular climate in their area. People learn what's available through different parts of the season. People are learning to pick fruit when it's actually ripe and full of nutrition. In a lot of our urban environments, there's patches of food deserts that exist. And a food desert is where residents of that particular community don't have direct access to healthy food choices. Food forests can be put in on very small parcels of land because they're making the most efficient use of that vertical and horizontal space. Over the last year, I've been looking into community food forests, looking into the motivations of why they're getting started and where they're located. And so far there's about 40 different food forests across the US. I have a goal of going to at least half of these food forests to take a look at what they're doing, what challenges they've faced, what successes they've had, so that I can produce best practices in a book that's available to the public to increase the success of the food forests that are already existing and the future ones to be built. Apart from visiting these food forests and actually seeing the different sites and how they're structured and what they look like, I also met with a lot of the key leaders and organizers talking about their experiences, the challenges they faced, and how they're involving the local community. Each food forest is completely unique, and each one has its own set of experiences that are important lessons to share with anybody else that is interested in getting one of these food forests up and running. I'm really excited to make this book, and I want to share my vision with you. This book is going to look at design processes, management, and different social aspects of community food forests, so that if you wanted to, you could create one in your town. By the end of this book, you won't only know what a food forest is, you'll have examples of what they look like in other places, you'll know what type of partnerships to seek out to make one happen, you'll know the different environmental and human benefits they can bring to your community, and you'll have a list of resources that you can go to take the first steps.